encourage the county to consider the huge environmental cost of grass lawns in terms of emissions, pesticides, and fertilizers. I would encourage the county to make it feasible for entities to plant native flora and rewild land. If we don't do this now, we will be relegating our children to a future of hunger, violence, and disease. The next comment is Elizabeth Hurst. She lives on Village Road in Willowbrook, and she's commenting about zoning petition Z20-054 Grubbeck. My name is Beth Ernst, and I am in disagreement with the placement of the garage at 406 Village Road, Willowbrook, Illinois. I disagree with the garage being in front of the house. This abnormal placement of the garage will cause not only an eyesore for our beautiful neighborhood, it will also cause my property to lose value. My property will lose value because no one will want to view a garage in a front yard. In my opinion, the garage should be placed in back of the house. Based on the area survey, a garage was in the back of the property. Where did this building go? If it is no longer on the property, was there a permit to have it torn down? Please feel free to contact me via email if you have any questions about my concerns of this petition. And then she gives her email address. The next comment is from Dwayne Tisher, also on Village Road, regarding the same zoning petition, Z20-054 Grubbeck. We are opposed to this variance for the following reasons. We live on the lot directly south of this property. Building a garage in the front yard will give our front yard a tunneled appearance and will greatly reduce our view. We will be looking at a side of a building. This will directly affect my property value and will end up costing me money. I cannot, for the life of me, understand how this is even being considered. If someone from the Building and Zoning Commission could actually come out and look at the property, they would immediately see how inappropriate this is. If the garage could be built on the other side of the house, that would not be a problem for me. No one would be impacted if the garage was built on the right side of the house. Our house is even with their house. How would you like to look at a picture window? How would you like to look out your picture window and see the side of a building? The garage was originally behind the house, but this was torn down to put in a fenced-in patio that encompasses the entire backyard. If this is approved, we will be contacting our real estate attorney to take the next step. I'm asking you please to have someone come out and visually look at this, not just on paper. Sincerely, Dwayne and Deborah Tisher. That is it.
Good, thank you. Thank you for those people who commented. Moving on to approval of the minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Development Committee minutes of Tuesday, August 18th.
So moved.
Chaplin. Second, Chaplin.
Motion and a second by Member Chaplin. Roll call, please.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Colbert?
Aye.
Member Hart?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Rutledge?
Aye.
Chair Tonatory?
Aye. I presume there were no additions or corrections. Sorry about that. The minutes are approved. Moving on to regulatory, I'll entertain a motion to approve DC.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Ozog, yes.
I apologize for being late. I was over at the public transit meeting and hopped over here. Sorry. Thank you.
We're glad you're here, Mary. We're
Thank
glad
you.
you're back. Thank you for attending, and I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 54-20 Ordinance C2022 Galleon. This is a zoning hearing officer's recommendation to deny a variation to allow for a new shed. We take our motions in the affirmative. So is there a motion to approve this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Paul, you want to bring us up to speed as to why this was denied by the zoning hearing officer, please? Or Jessica, whoever's Paul.
So, zoning
hearing officer denied the zoning petition because the petitioner didn't present a case. When you submit for zoning relief, you have to present a practical difficulty, hardship for needing to go closer to the property line. The petitioner wasn't able to do that. Petitioner does have some floodplain on the back of his property. The ZHO, the zoning hearing officer, tried to bring out the fact that there was floodplain on the property, and perhaps that could be the reason. Petitioner really didn't go there with his application. He just said he had a shed on the property, that he wanted to take it down and build a new one and build it closer to the property line. So there was really no proof that the petitioner put it in. And he didn't. There's other places on the property outside of the floodplain that meet the setback requirement that the petitioner could put the shed. So that was the reason why the zoning hearing officer did not.
Any questions of Paul? Any comments? Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the zoning hearing officer's recommendation. So an aye vote would be to approve this and overturn the ZHO's recommendation. A no vote would be to affirm the zoning hearing officer's recommendation.
Member Chaplin?
No.
Member Covert?
No.
Member Hart?
No.
Member Ozog?
No.
Member Rutledge?
No.
Chair Tornatori?
No, and the motion is defeated. Moving on to item B, I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 55-20, ordinance D 2029 Layton. This is a zoning hearing officer's recommendation to approve a conditional use to allow an existing shed to remain closer than the required 3 feet from the side property line.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion, questions, comments? There being none, hearing none, roll call please.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert?
Aye.
Member Hart?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Rutledge?
Aye.
Chair Tornatori?
The motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 56-20, ordinance C 2031 Linder. This is a ZHO's recommendation to approve variation to increase height of a proposed fence and to reduce the line of sight vision clearance. The motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, I'll roll please.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert?
Aye.
Member Hart?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Rutledge?
Aye.
Chair Tornatori?
Aye. And the motion carries. I think I'm going to be within our rights. Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to entertain a motion to combine and approve item DCO 57-20, item DCO 62-20, DCO 58-20, DCO 59-20, DCO 60-20, and DCO 61-20. These are all zoning hearing officers' recommendations to approve conditional uses or variations.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to combine them and approve them. Any questions or concerns on any of these?
Yeah, Chairman Tornatori?
For her.
Yes, could Paul just briefly walk us through item D
Sure.
and the ZHO's reasoning in that one?
Leonard?
Yes.
He's getting that information for you, Member Hart.
Thank you.
So the zoning hearing officer recommended to approve this as the petitioner was able to demonstrate that he has the need to have storage on the property. He just doesn't have the capability to store inside the home. In addition, there was a concern about being able to attach the garage to the existing house, and architecturally, he's just not able to do that. So that's why he needs the detached garage and the increase in size for the detached garage.
Okay, and then other than the individuals that we heard submit public comment today, was there any other opposition filed, Paul, to this change?
Well, the public comment wasn't on that item. It was on item J.
Oh, it was on J, okay.
Was there any objection or any public comment to this?
No.
Okay, there was none.
Okay.
To answer your
Thank
question, Member Hart?
Yeah, we're good, thank you.
Okay, roll call, please.
Member Chaplin? Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert?
Aye.
Member Hart?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Rutledge? Aye. Chair Tornatori?
Aye. The items are approved as combined. Moving on to item J, I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 63-20 Ordinance C 2054 Rubik. This is a zoning hearing officer's recommendation to approve a variation to allow proposed detached garage to be located in front of the front wall of the house.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Questions, comments?
My only comment is I think we should die. We combined these sheds.
Okay, say aye. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, let's go back to Island. I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 61-20 Ordinance C 2044 Weber zoning hearing officer's recommendation to approve a variation to reduce an interior side setback for an attached garage.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions, discussions, comments? Roll call.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert?
Aye.
Member Hart?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Rutledge? Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Member Rutledge. Back on to item J. Did we have a motion in a second? I believe we did. Okay. Discussion, questions from anyone? Paul, do you want to tell me, the members of the committee, why this is going in the front of a house?
So if you look on page 6 of your packet, it shows the existing site plan for the property. And it shows that the house for the property, well, first of all, it shows that this is sort of a reverse pie-shaped lot where the obtuse area of the property is along the right-of-way, and it becomes very acute in the back. The house is set back almost entirely in the rear yard of the property. There was a detached garage in the rear yard of the property, but there was no way to get access to that garage because the house was set so far back from the property building to get access around the house to the garage. So that old garage that was here, there served as a petitioner wants to build the garage on the property. There's no.
Oh, I'm having a little hard time hearing.
Can't hear.
So you all saw the survey, right? And the survey shows that the house is set back almost entirely in the rear yard of the property. There was an existing building back there that was called out as a garage, but there was no physical way to get around the building with a car to get into that garage. So the petitioner is asking to put a garage in front of the front wall of the house, and that's what the variation request is, because there's practically no way to get a car behind the existing house. That's the main hardship issue. If you look at page 9 of your exhibit, you'll see a broader view of the subject property, which is in the middle of that picture, and then you also see the property to the south. The property to the south has the same situation, and it has a detached garage in front of the front wall of the house that was permitted prior to us, to the county, requiring that detached garages could not be in front of the front wall of the house. So that garage on the south side of the subject property was permitted as a right. We changed the ordinance after that. So you can see that the zoning hearing the zoning hearing officer found that there was a practical difficulty and hardship in that there is no physical way to build a garage behind the front wall of the house because of where the house is situated on the property and the peculiar nature of the lot. And also, there are instances in the neighborhood where detached garages are located in front of the front wall of the house.
Excuse me. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Member Ozark.
Question for Paul. What's the approximate, if you've got it off the top of your head, what's the approximate lot size of the subject lot that's looking for the approval?
Lot size is, approximately about 8,200 square feet in size. 8,200 square feet in size.
So about a quarter of an acre or something like that?
Thereabouts, yep.
Okay. And from what I'm seeing on the picture, or from the plans, I'm not really seeing that the obstruction of a view would be, I'm not clear about that. Is that, the petitioner had said, I'm just not clear about that. I'm sorry, I'm done. Thank you.
I will tell you one thing that relative to where you can build on the subject property, if this property was vacant, property owner would have the ability to build a single family house 30 feet from the front property line. You can see on page 6, on the site plan, that the 30-foot building line on the site plan is going to be, the proposed detached garage is going to be another 20 feet from the 30-foot building line. So this detached garage is going to be approximately 50 feet away from the front property line. And once again, if they were to build a new house, they could build a house at the 30-foot setback, and that would, and I'm not suggesting that would block anybody's view, but people would have the right to build a building 30 feet from the property line. And the closest that any building, including the detached garage, will be from the front property line is approximately 50 feet.
50 feet. Also, how far back would you say the current house is? Is it like 100 feet from the property line?
Current house is approximately from the curvature of the property line is about 60 feet back from the
60.
property line.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Question?
I just had a general question, thank you, Chairman, about well and septic versus, I mean, obviously this says it's on sewer and water. What's the percentage of properties in unincorporated that actually have access to water?
I'll get that for you.
Okay.
I'll get that
This,
information.
you know, kind of one of those, I always had the assumption that most everything in the county is unincorporated is on a well and septic, so like, no surprises in that.
Any other questions, Paul? Paul, if I can, on page 6, if I'm looking at you are, the survey or showing a property line. It is the top of the page north. That might be correct. Well, maybe it doesn't matter.
The right side of the page is north. The top of the page would be west.
And were the people who were objecting in the public comment, would they be to the bottom of the page or to the village roadside?
No, they are to the south of the property, so they would be to the left of the page.
Okay. Okay. And currently, this frame garage that's at the rear, there's not to have any way to access it?
There is a driveway that goes back there,
Okay.
but you physically cannot get a car back there. There's just not enough room to be able to do that.
Because there's an easement on over on that side as well, right? So
There's
they
an
have a
easement.
problem putting the driveway down.
But even if we were able to get a vacation of the easement, there just physically is no way to stay on the person's property and to get past the northwest corner of the house. It's just too narrow.
And where this new detached garage is going to be, which is here, as I'm pointing.
That's correct.
Where's the driveway going to be?
The driveway will come off a village road. He didn't draw the driveway in. So the driveway that you see on the survey on the right-hand side or north side of the survey, that will be removed along with the building in the back. And then the new garage will have a driveway on the south side of the property that comes out the village road. He just hasn't shown it on this survey yet.
Would there have been a reason, and would it make a difference if the garage were placed on, I'm totally confused whether it's east or south or north, but on the other side of the home?
The dilemma there is that it could have been placed there, but it would have purposefully meant that the garage would have had to move further towards the roadway or closer to the roadway, because the house on the property sits at an angle. And so if you would have put it on the north side of the property, that would have meant that the garage would have been closer to the roadway. The petitioner felt that putting the garage where he was putting it would afford as much open space in the front yard as you could possibly have.
But closer to the neighbor, to this
Correct.
other side. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Any more? Anything? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the zoning hearing officer's recommendation. Roll call, please.
Member Chaplin,
Aye.
Member Colbert,
Aye.
Member Hart,
Aye.
Member Ozog,
Aye.
Member Rutledge, Chair Tornatori.
Aye, and the motion carries. Moving on, to item K, discussion of the fiscal year 21 building and zoning budget. 2 weeks ago. And Nick, will you be presenting in Jim's absence?
I will be doing some and Joy will be doing some here. So I know that we're kind of pressed for time, so we'll keep the presentation probably under an hour here. So everybody should have received the presentation and then the line by line on Friday, I think. So we'll kind of dive right in for the building and zoning 2021 fiscal year proposed budget. So quick summary, we'll go through it. Everybody I think is very, very aware of what the missions and kind of what the department does, but provides, all services that a incorporated area would do for building and zoning, including regional planning, economic growth, zoning, building permitting, for all the unincorporated areas of DuPage County. In addition, there's an environmental department underneath building and zoning for the green initiatives. It's comprised of 28 employees, and you can kind of see we have a little bit of everything, all kinds of different talent levels and different job descriptions in there. Off to the right, interesting one, and I know this is near and dear to a number of members out there, our neighborhood revitalization program is one of the programs underneath the department that's probably one of the biggest successes that we've had in the department. I know it's also called Clean and Lean, the different programs when we have a dilapidated property. I know Paul is very, very involved in this program, but at the end of the day, we can tear down an old house like this and have a lot that can be developed new. Next slide, please. So, like I said before, made up of 3 different divisions. We have the building division, zoning division, and environmental. Not to spend too much time on this, I want to get into numbers, but basically oversee about 52,000 acres in unincorporated property across the county. It's spots here and there in every single township there. So obviously all aspects of building, including reviews, inspections, all permit questions, complaints, zoning. As everything you worked on today, all of the different zoning ordinances, make sure we're in compliance. Once again, inspections. They oversee the neighborhood revitalization. And then all the ZBA hearings and plat committees. And then we have the environmental division, which Joy oversees. and they are responsible for the IEPA delegation for all the inspections and enforcements across DuPage County. And that is the one that's both unincorporated and incorporated. A couple highlights, and this is something that the department is very proud of, where especially the 2020, what they've done. During this whole COVID issue that we've been dealing with, that department has never shut down one day. They have continued to process permits. Early on it was by appointment, and then they were the first ones to open back up. I mean, there is a demand for their services, and they have handled it extremely well. It's probably, of all of our departments here at the county, it's the most involved with the public. And so all the employees in that department have gone above and beyond to deal with that in the midst of the COVID. And it's something that I'm very proud of all of them. But you can see our levels have not, everything else has been impacted by COVID, but the permitting has not been impacted by COVID. We're on track for the same number of permits. You can see the calls were on track. Everything up and down has been, pretty much in line with past years. So the building side of life is still moving forward and is still progressing very well, which is great, because the reason why they wanted to keep it going, they're kind of the engine for a lot of other services. You got the builders out there. We didn't want to be the roadblock for construction in DuPage County. So next slide. One of the big things we do, and I know Paul and Jessica are very much involved in this, are some of the special projects we do for land use planning. And you can kind of see, and over the years, the number they've done every year, they're involved in some of the ones that lately are the Route 83 corridor land use plan, and in the Lake Street corridor zoning overlay. Obviously in light of our time here, I'm not going to go too much in depth, but a lot of the different municipalities along these corridors rely on the work that Paul and his staff do, and it's very important. And I know Chairman Tornatore, you're very much involved in some of those corridor planning. So next slide. And at this one, I'm going to actually turn it over to Joy to go over some of the numbers. And like I said, everybody did receive the line by line on Friday, but we'll kind of give a summary of where we're at for our 21 budget.
So we are on target, as Nick pointed out, to meet all of our expenditures in 2021. What you see on the right are some revenue projections that our financial staff put together. The green line is if we stay where we are within about 95%. If something happens, unfortunately, that red line there would show another, some extreme COVID reduction, some extreme drop in development on the commercial side or multifamily along those lines. We're hoping to stay on the green line and keep everything kind of as it's going. So what we did is we lumped together, just in the broad categories, our budget. Quick summary. We are going to be we are going to be putting in for 5.7% below our 2020 budget. And then we quickly wanted to just give you a heads up as far as 2021. The online permitting software, we were able to fund under the CARES Act funding. We're very pleased about that. And that does include 3 years of maintenance costs. And that will be a software system that talks to Public Works, DOT, and Stormwater. So it's a fantastic collaboration. The potential permit fee rate study, we looked into that, and the last time we've actually reviewed our permit fees was 2008. So in 2021, we might be coming back to the committee to discuss the results of that study. We don't know if that's going to be an increase, decrease, or just status quo. The third bullet, annexations on permitting and ZBA revenue. We just wanted to remind the board that as more properties annex, it does impact our revenues. So we just wanted to keep that in the forefront of your mind, that as we lose parcels to the unincorporated area, that may drive our revenues down in the future. And then in 2021, we will likely be doing a building code update, which this committee will be reviewing at some point in time. And I believe that is it. Are there any questions?
Any questions of Joy or Nick from the members of the committee? Presumably all the members of the committee understand how an enterprise fund works, the impact to the general fund is.
So that's, the impact general fund is we have no impact.
No impact. That's what I wanted them to say.
The department pretty much exists solely on the revenue brought in for permitting, and they have to balance their budget through the ups and downs of that. And I think that the team has done a very good job of, I mean, they have a slight reserve for the downturns to weather the storm, but they are totally dependent on the revenue that comes in the door.
Any questions of Nick or Joy?
I think Mary was raising her hand before. Is she
I'm
still?
sorry, Mary, she have a question?
She dropped off.
Dropped off. Okay, so we're not voting on this. This was just for discussion purposes. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Joy. Once again, great presentation and all the good work we do.
Here's you just lost your quorum.
There's no action item, so
We gotta finish the meeting though.
Finish the
When do you know?
Mary,
Scotty is still on.
are they all gone?
They're all gone except for Craig.
let me see if I can grab.
How many people we need to have a quorum to close out the meeting?
One. Presumably we have to. Crazy rule.
Do we need a quorum to adjourn?
Yes.
Oh, we do? Okay.
We had a quorum, they have a roll call.
We're looking for somebody.
We're gonna look for somebody. You gotta look, you gotta look.
Yeah,
What's
so
your address?
I'm 1N127 Ridgeland, but our addresses are goofy. I think he's 24.
Oh, yeah. We're originally.
Nobody, it's over.
So
Piled up a bunch of dirt.
I want to
on his
proceed. I
property.
mean, you're discussing, but
He doesn't want to put a culvert in.
arguably great line here.
Oh, yeah, that's John's, but I'll talk, that'll be John's.
Well, and I'm questioning the amount of traffic that goes in and out because I know there's. I mean, it's got his left that truck with the engine strapped
We'll give
on,
him
car
30
strapped on, 5 different plants.
It's not gonna be somebody else.
Company he's doing, it's crazy. They continue to shoot golf balls over my property because they got all those arborvitaes. I think they can get up that through their neck.
Who did?
Ashley Selman.
All right,
You can ask her to
can
start
you
her
bring
video.
her in?
I just asked her to start her video. Here she comes. There we go.
Ashley.
Hi.
welcome. We need a quorum to adjourn.
Okay, is this development?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I guess.
All right.
You're a member of the committee. All right, we'll entertain a motion to make Member Summer a member of the committee. Member Rutledge, make the motion. Member Hart, second.
Second.
Roll call.
Member Chaplin? Member Covert? Member Hart?
Aye.
Member Ozog? Member Rutledge?
Aye.
Member Tory?
Aye. So Ashley, thanks for being a member of the committee. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion to second, roll call.
Member Chaplin? Member Covert? Member Hart?
Aye.
Member Ozog? Member Rutledge?
Aye.
Member Selman?
Aye.
Member Tory?
And we are adjourned. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank
Ashley.
you. Thanks, Ashley.
You're welcome.